It's Feel Good Friday with Dr. Phil 2. It's time to fill your Friday with something good. Come on together, let's shape a new start with clarity, confidence, and purpose. It's Feel Good Friday. Hey, what's up, everybody? Listen, it's Feel Good Friday. And let me tell you something. There's always something to feel good about. Everybody, this is a Friday. And listen, we're at the end of this week, but listen, it's the beginning of something great, something wonderful. And I've got a powerful guest with us in the studio right here in this space, right here in this place. This is my brother, Anderson Jean. And listen, he's about to tell you about some things, but what's going on, brother?
Listen, man, I can't complain. I'm tired, but it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. It's been a long week, long work week, but looking forward to, a 3-day weekend. So can't complain, man.
That's right. That's it. Yeah. Well, listen, we're so glad that you are here in this space. Listen, you're running for you're a candidate for the House of Delegates for Maryland. So as we are getting into this season, we're in this political season at this point, and you're running for office. First, tell me what do you do professionally, and what is your passion for why you're running?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, Dr. Phil, I want to say thank you for inviting me to be on your show. But so as a professional, I'm a professor, so I lecture the U.S. Constitution, U.S. history, world history, economics. So those are the things that drive me each and every day. It's cultivating minds, future generations on how to view the world. That's what I do professionally. Now, what drives me to get into politics? Well, my father got me started in politics 30 years ago, back in 1996. Him and I used to watch elections together. And at the time, President Clinton was running for re-election. And I had just finished kindergarten, and he would always place me in front of the TV to watch debates, to watch speeches. And from that point on, it began to burn. I had this burning desire to serve people because my father's been a church elder for 40 years. So he's always been a public servant. And he modeled that behavior for me as a young man. And so now here I am 30 years later, everything coming full circle. So I have a desire to serve people, not only in academia, but also in the legislature, passing laws to change people's lives, whether it's on the education front, whether it's healthcare, whether it's jobs, whether it's our seniors, or whether it's, affordability, which is the big topic of the day. So the ability to impact people's lives through legislation is what drives me each and every day to do what I do, not only as a professor, but also as a future public servant.
Hey, that's it. So what are some of the challenges? I mean, you see, and credit to your father really for inspiring that. And, it's definitely, our parents definitely help us get to where we need to be. But tell me, what do you see as the challenges today?
Well, I think there are a few things. One, we have a president who is, doesn't understand how our Constitution works. Checks and balances, 3 branches, and I think he thinks he's a wannabe king. And thank God we have guardrails that keeps him in check. But I think it's a question of affordability. People not being able to afford groceries and, housing being expensive, gas prices.
Yeah.
So I think the question is, how do we bring down cost to make sure that Americans are able to make an honest living and also provide for their families and retire with dignity? I mean, especially in Baltimore City, talking to a lot of seniors in my district, these are folks who've given their lives for this country. Those are folks who've paid their dues, but they're living in buildings where mold is growing, or the water is not running, or the heat is not working. That's unacceptable in an American city. And so the challenges are really affordability, making sure that we're providing a quality education for our students, and also making sure that people could come into our district and start businesses and make Baltimore a great city to live in. It's a phenomenal city, but there's always work to be done. And so I think those are the 3 main things our campaign is centered around: affordability, our seniors, and reforming our education system, making sure that we're raising test scores, we're raising math scores and reading scores, and providing our kids a lot of opportunity beyond their block, beyond their neighborhood. There's a whole world out there. And so I think those are three things in our campaign that we're preaching about. And the folks have been really receptive to the issues that we're discussing. And so, we're happy that people are responsive.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, that's the key. And you said something about education. I find that in politics, one of the first things they love to cut is education. And I'm talking about not just funding teachers. I think teachers should get a raise, by the way,
Yep.
but we're talking about programs too.
Right.
So we're seeing the programs that can come into our schools, whether it be the arts, whether it be sports, intramurals, whether it be mentorship programs, which I've done. I've done mentorship programs,
Mhm.
uh, youth, and you need a swarm of those things to
Yep.
get into our schools and to help improve character, improve test scores,
Mhm.
improve all of these things. So how do we really, especially when the White House has frozen
Right.
education budgets,
Mhm.
how do we really get around this? How do we do this?
Well, I think one of the biggest thing is making sure that you know we are taking care of our teachers and as you mentioned, when it comes to salaries, making sure that teachers are getting, they're getting paid a fair wage for the work that they do because they're on the front line. But also, it's not a question of money because Baltimore City, we have the funds. It's more so uh, uh how the money's being allocated. We see that with budgets where majority of the cost is going towards administrative costs, top heavy when it comes to salaries. But then when it's time to make cuts, they're cutting art teachers, they're cutting gym teachers, they're cutting librarians and specialists. And so the
Mm,
question is, it's a question of transparency and accountability. Where is the money going, and making sure the money is going to the classrooms first. I spent
mhm,
a year teaching at Green Street Academy in Baltimore on the west side, and it was an older building. There were times where, and this is a couple of years ago, but there were times where um, the AC wasn't working, or during the winter where the heat wasn't working, or the were outdated textbooks. And so the question is what our priorities are, because I could guarantee you, if I go to a neighborhood like a Roland Park, a couple blocks up, they don't have those issues. And
mm,
all you have to do is look at the demographics. That begins to tell the story. So
mm,
the question is, what are we doing for our black and brown children to provide adequate education for them so they could have the same opportunities? Because it's never been a question about intelligence. Our kids are intelligent, they're beyond intelligent. It's about
mhm.
access.
That's
And so
right.
we want to make sure that the funding is there, but how the money is being allocated to make sure that's reaching the classrooms. We're paying our teachers, we're providing specialists, we're providing tutors for our kids after school, and before and after school programs, wraparound services, so our kids can succeed. Because some of our kids, especially in Baltimore City, they're coming from troubled homes, broken homes. And so I cannot expect a child who's coming from a broken home to have the same desire to learn compared to a child that's coming from a two-parent home where there's stability. And so we have to make sure we adjust our system to the kids to make sure that they have the opportunities to do well. And so, um, the blueprint, the Maryland blueprint, it's a massive education program that the state of Maryland has adopted. I
Mhm.
think it's done really well, but there's also areas where adjustments need to be made. And so I think we have a great governor, Governor Moore, who's doing a phenomenal job. And so my goal, when I get elected to the legislator, is to sit down with the governor and continue to find ways to make Maryland the best place for kids to learn and to go to school, and not just K through 12, but also college, and stay here and invest in our great state.
Hey, listen, I love that. I love that. That's that passion of course, allocating and directing the path of everything. And so we want to make sure that people understand how that works and how that helps. Sometimes it's not about the wealth of money or the access to money. It's about distributing
Right,
and remembering the smaller people, remembering
right.
the people that we consider the smaller, but are actually are advocates in smaller classroom or smaller sizes. But
Yes. Yep.
these things are a necessity.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about the district that you're running for and the position. We
Mm.
know we hear the term House of Delegates, but
Right.
explain to people like me that's
Right.
learning. We're learning. Give me the breakdown of your position and how you're going to make the impact.
Well, I always, to simplify it, so think about the federal level. You have the United States House of Representatives, and then you have the U.S. Senate. So it's just at the state level. You have the House of Delegates, and then you have the Maryland Senate. So as a delegate, my job would be I'd sit on committees, introduce bills, vote on bills, and then it'd go to the Senate. And if the Senate passes it, then it'd go off to the governor, and he'd sign it. It becomes state law. When it comes to the 40th district, it's on the west side of Baltimore. It's a historic district. Great people. We have places like Bolton Hill, Ashburton, an affluent Black community, and it's a diverse district where folks want to do well, and folks have historically people have lived in the district. The issue we're having now is that due to with disinvestment and with the county becoming, as families as people begin to raise families, they move into the county. The district has been certain aspects of the district have been overlooked. But I encourage people to go and look up the 40th district. Having folks come. We've had some famous folks come out and perform in the 40th district. We have a lot of great restaurants, and we've had some affluent people who came from the district. And so what the goal is, we want to make sure that the parts of the district that have been forgotten, we want to bring investment into the 40th, whether it's job opportunities. We want to deal with the vacant housing crisis. But overall, it is a phenomenal district to live in. The people are great. The people are supportive. And I'm biased. It is the heartbeat of the city of Baltimore, West Baltimore. And, I encourage folks to come out and see the district for yourself and see what it has to offer. Because originally I'm from Connecticut, but I've been here for 5 years, and I moved into West Baltimore because I saw the potential that the district has, and I want to make sure we're continuing to build on that legacy.
That's right. That's right. And I remember you from Connecticut. I remember you back in the day. Now, what part of Connecticut did you grow up in?
So I grew up in Danbury, but then I spent time in Bridgeport, Stamford, and New Haven. And so that's why I'm a New England Patriots fan. And I know we lost on Sunday, but we're tied for the most Super Bowl wins in NFL history. So all the haters, they could find something else to go do with their time. I mean, I got Commanders fans talking to me, and we have the greatest quarterback in Tom Brady and 6 rings. Okay.
Well, yeah. So I lived in Rhode Island for some time. I went to school in Massachusetts.
Yep.
But I'm a New York Giants fan. So although I'm a Patriot hater, I have credibility with my hate. I got credibility. But I lived in Warwick, Rhode Island, where the airport is there, and that is actually where the Patriots fly into. They don't fly into Boston Airport; they fly into Rhode Island.
Yep.
And so, or Providence Airport, and so you would see the plane, and it had all the Patriots
Super Bowl wins,
Super Bowl thing on their plane. They had their own private plane with their Super Bowl.
That's right.
Boy, I ain't gonna lie, I am a hater.
Hey, we have a great quarterback, a great young quarterback. We'll be back.
Yeah. No, you got a good one. But yeah, your Ravens fans, yeah, they don't like to hear that. They don't like to hear that, And I think the Ravens got the better quarterback. But hey, listen, Drake did his thing. The Patriots did their thing to get to the Super Bowl. But now we're trying to get you to your Super Bowl. We're trying to make sure that you get the wins and you get elected for what you are trying to do. So you talked about some good, some businesses, some restaurants, and the potential that you see for the 40th district. Can you explain some of the areas for folk like myself who I know I work in the Waverly district, right, of Maryland or Baltimore. But tell us a little bit about some of the surrounding territories and some of the schools that are in your district.
Yes. So we have an HBCU, Coppin State University. I'm a huge supporter of HBCUs. Coppin State's a fine university. We've had some students from Coppin State who've worked on our campaign. We have obviously Penn North, Ashburton, which is an affluent black neighborhood with well-to-do African Americans who've done well for themselves. We have places like Bolton Hill, Reservoir Hill, and then obviously with the opioid crisis going on in Penn North, and there are a lot of vacant housing issues there. So our goal is to how do we support these folks who are, struggling with addiction and helping them recover to get back on their feet. It's not an issue that we should criminalize. Um, and we also have an issue with housing. We want to make sure housing is affordable. So we want to make sure that uh, landlords are not just buying property and they're sitting on the property, but they're not revitalizing it so folks can move in and rent the property. And so those are the biggest issues we're facing in the district. It's an issue of the opioid crisis, and then we also have an issue with housing. And then the mayor Scott has done a phenomenal job when it comes to bringing down crime. And so, but again, it's the three main areas: affordability, education, and we have some fine institutions. I mean, Green Street Academy is one that I taught for a year there. I had some of the smartest students that I've taught when I worked there, and some really great teachers. And the executive director is a phenomenal individual. She started. She was part of the founding members of the school and where the school was when it started and where it is now. Um, and then we there there's always something going on in our district. Whether it's a festival, whether it's folks getting out, um, to whether it's to go on a walk or to visit to engage in fine dining. I remember we went around and I had put my poster on a couple of the neighborhood bulletins, and people were reaching out. They're like, "Hey, look, we see what you're doing. We want to be a part of that." And so those are the challenges that we're facing, and those aren't challenges that we can solve. But the question is having a legislator in the General Assembly who's committed to doing that. And so that is my biggest thing, making sure that as soon as I get there, I pass legislation that has to do with affordability, that has to do with education, and how do we deal with the opioid crisis going on in Penn North.
Hey, I love it. I love it. And you said the right word, affordability. It scares a lot of people
Or
to
it
use
does.
the term affordability. It scares your president, affordability. But we want to make sure that our districts are covered with people that are looking at legislation. And so, listen, this is Feel Good Friday. This is Feel Good Friday, everybody. And before we go any further, I just want to let you know that this Feel Good Friday is sponsored by McGuire Entertainment. But let me just say it again. This is sponsored by McGuire Entertainment Group for the book, The Adventures of the Snuggly Wugglies. And we love for you to get that book even today. So this is our station identification. This is who is sponsoring this program today. Now, let me just tell you how you can sponsor this candidate. If you just look right here, this QR code, that is where you can donate. This is where you can donate. Now, any amount, well, you can tell them what
Mhm.
amount are you looking for and how can they give and what is it that you're looking to raise?
And so our goal is to raise, about $40,000. That's our goal. So far we've done pretty well, but the thing about campaigns, it's usually the small dollar donations that help campaigns. We saw that with former President Obama back in 2007, 2008. Saw that with
Right.
Senator Bernie Sanders. And so whether folks are able to donate, whether it's $10, $15, $25, $100, $200, $1,000, whatever they have, please, and if they're able to, please support our campaign. I mean, because my main focus is not going to politics to enrich myself. My focus is going in there and getting something done on, especially with education, because we want to make sure that we're preparing the next generation. So whatever folks are able to give, we will gladly accept. And we want to continue to grow our volunteer base. People that want to come out and knock on doors with us. We knock every Sunday, and as it gets warmer, we'll be knocking every day. At least I will, and spending time with my constituents. And so whatever they're able to give, whether it's phone bank, donate, knock on doors, we're open and we're ready to work together.
Yeah, because listen, you need to pay to get the word out. You need to sponsor,
Absolutely.
and it's really hard to sponsor some of these ads on social media. So it's just critical that the word gets out. So if you are in the 40th district, and I know there's some people we know in Edmondson Heights
Yep.
and some areas surrounding areas like that. We have some
Mhm.
graduates from Coppin State
Yep.
University.
Yep.
We have people that are just doing good in their community, and so we are looking forward. We are looking forward to seeing what comes of you, what God does for you. And
Absolutely.
listen, this is Feel Good Friday. Last thing. What can somebody feel good about? What can somebody feel good about?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you, what can somebody feel good about?
Life, to be alive. I mean, for me personally, uh, every day above ground is another day to get better. And so I make sure I make the best of every day that I have. My friends will joke and say that I live off a rigid schedule, and that's because my mindset is I don't know how much time I have left on this earth, and so I want to make sure I'm making the best of it each and every day. And so being alive, man, being able to live and have a roof over your head. I have a I don't have a job. I have a passion teaching history and the Constitution. I'm passionate about those things. Politics, I'm passionate about that. And so to quote the late great Kobe Bryant, when you're passionate about what you do, it's not work. And so being able to wake up every day and to do what I love, and so I think that's what I feel good about every single day.
Yes, 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 indeed. Well, listen, you're an educator, now getting into politics, and so we wish you well, man. We pray that you'll be able to make a large difference, especially in this 40th district of Baltimore, Maryland. And listen, the impact that you are ready to make in this time and in this season, I just want to empower you.
Hmm.
Continue to, stay encouraged. Continue to stay focused.
Yep.
Um, you're going to have a lot of people with one-liner arguments
Yep.
or kind of arguments, right? There is a
Yep.
talking point that your opposition is going to have,
All right.
right? And so you need to be prepared for those talking points because they're straight line. They know what they want to say, and they're not backing down from that. You have that focus, and you stay focused on your lines, what you are focused on helping, the people that you are focused on helping, and just stay encouraged no matter what comes your way. And it will, because the more influence you have, guess what? The greater everything will be. So listen, we have some encouraging people watching even right now. All right. We have some encouraging people. Yes, yes,
Absolutely.
yes. The one and only. Yes, the one and only. All the best on your, come on now. Come on.
That that's m-
All the
that's my
best
guy.
right here.
That's my guy
And
Justin
listen,
Kier.
oh
Me
yeah.
and Justin, we grew
Yeah,
up
yeah.
together in Florida. Yeah, I know Justin.
That's my brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for being an example. And we're going to introduce you to Dr. Lady J, and
Okay.
we'll get you guys connected as well. And you want to check out What's Up Baltimore TV? What's Up
Okay.
Baltimore TV? I'll be on there on Monday, so check that out. Hey,
Okay.
hey, hey. How you doing? All right. Yes, the power of influence. The power of influence. So
Absolutely.
listen, man, keep going, stay focused, and we feel good on this Friday about what you're
Absolutely.
doing.
Appreciate
Anderson Gene, everybody, House of Delegates for Maryland, District 40. There is the QR code where you can just scan and donate to his campaign. Whatever you can donate. I believe a lot of people giving a little makes a big difference. So
you. Thank you.
let's go. Take care, everybody. We
All right.
are Feel Good Friday. It's Feel Good Friday with Dr. Phil 2. It's time to fill your Friday with something good. Come on together, let's shape a new start with clarity, confidence, and purpose. It's Feel Good Friday.